Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Standing by with me is the Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Prison Service, Mr. Francis Enobore. You're very welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you've heard the various accounts which comprise that report. What is your response?
Well, let me choose a convenient entry point to this very important discourse by giving a brief description of the prison system we have in Nigeria today. The Nigerian Prison Service has a total of 244 prison formations where prisoners are kept, made up of 139 main prisons, 85 satellite prisons, 17 farm centers, and 3 postal institutions where we keep juvenile offenders. I tell you that out of this number, well over 100 of them are more than 100 years old, with very weak infrastructure that, of course, will not be strong enough to restrain the level of criminality and those that perpetrate very high crimes in society today. And to compound this problem, I tell you that the population of inmates in Nigerian Prison Service as of today oscillates between 73 to 74,000. And out of this number, close to 49,000, representing close to 68% of them, are awaiting trial. Just like we heard from the Honorable Minister of Interior describing the unfortunate situation in Port Harcourt, where a prison that was established in 1918 to accommodate just 804 prisoners, now having close to 4,000 persons. And out of that number, close to 3,500 are there awaiting trial. If you go to Ikoyi in Lagos, that prison was established in 1961 to accommodate just 800 prisoners. Presently, they are locking close to 3,000, with over 2,500 awaiting trial. If you go to Kirikiri Medium, it was established in 1964 to accommodate just 1,700 inmates. But what's the situation today? They are locking close to 3,000, with over 2,700 awaiting trial. And this is the same scenario you find in most prisons that are located in urban centers across the country.
You've given a pretty clear analysis of the figures, but let me ask you, if the current population, including those currently awaiting trial, is approximately 74,000, as you've said, what is the number of the total of all the prisons in the country, the number of the primary capacity figure when they were constructed, you know, between the 1960s and 70s around the country? What's the difference between what is there and what should be there?
Put together, we don't have facilities that will accommodate more than 55,000 prisoners across the country.
So we're looking at 20,000 plus.
Yes.
That's significant. Now, we've heard from the Minister of Interior, and he has said that the federal government is looking at building a new 3,000 basically capacity prisons. Now, how effective do you think that will be in mitigating this problem? How many prisons can be built? Because a lot of people are saying, look, is it just to build prisons, or is it to essentially build the capacity of the justice delivery system in the country, to decongest the prisons? What are your thoughts?
Yes, thank you very much. It's a combination of both. Internally, we have discovered that over the years, if you keep prisoners in a restricted environment and you don't humanize the process of keeping them there, you create internal tension, which will snowball into crises and jailbreaks here and there. Riding from that, the federal government has graciously approved 3,000 capacity prisons to be built in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. And the beauty of the new concept is to have a combination of court is going to be co-located with court, with both indoor and outdoor recreation facilities, with drug detoxification centers, with rehabilitation centers, with vocational training centers. It's going to be a very comprehensive, program put together. The complex we further humanize the process of keeping,
to enhance rehabilitation.
Yes, it enhances rehabilitation. Okay. So it will reduce detention. And then talking about also enhancing the capacity of the justice delivery system, the chain, to work better. Yes, it will help to reduce detention, because if you keep, there are some prisoners that have been behind bars for close to 15, 20 years awaiting trial. For crying out loud, what crime on earth would one commit, and for 20 years he's awaiting trial? We are now advocating that all those that are awaiting trial should be sent home. The point is that let the justice process be given be kind of expedited so that those that have reasons to be behind bars, they can be there. And those that have absolutely no reason to be behind bars, let them go home. So,
what is the timeline we're looking at, though? Because when you talk about these complexes, if it's going to be 3,000 capacity prisons set up in each of the 6 geopolitical zones, obviously that makes about 18,000. You've talked about the overage being around 20+ thousand. Yeah. Now, even if you combine that with decongestion, the question now becomes, how do you situate them, and then what's the time frame to ensure that this can be done as fast as possible?
Actually, that of Northwest has actually taken off, and I understand that portions of that prison have already reached close to 65% completion, and other locations will be coming up in no distant time. In addition to that, that's not the only approach. We are also looking at the possibility of relocating some of these prisons that have been cut up by urbanization in the city centers to more commodious areas where you can deploy, treatment regimes. We were lucky some couple of years back to have been given one by the good people of Akwa Ibom State. They built a modern prison facility there, and it's solving a lot of problems.
Well, we're going to get into plenty more details when we come back from this short break. Our viewers, please do stay with us. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Standing by with me is the Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Prison Service, Mr. Francis Enobore. Sir, you were just talking about the time frame in which these 6 prisons in the various geopolitical zones are going to be constructed. Please conclude your thoughts.
Yes. I may not be able to attach definite time frame for the completion of these projects because they are massive. Don't forget that most of these things are tied to budget allocation and releases. But what I can assure you is that as we progress, as funds are made available, the project will be pursued and
You're taking me into exactly where I was going, which is the issue of whether or not the prison service is being adequately funded. We know that in 2015, about 4 billion naira was attached to the capital component of the prison service. We're looking at about 16 billion in the 2018 budget. Is that enough, considering the level of inadequacy in the service?
Yeah, thank you very much. Don't forget that our people will say half kola nut is better than a big stone. We are coming from a background where the prison was inadequately funded. We are not out of the woods yet. But the quantum leap in the allocation has translated to massive infrastructural intervention, as we are currently witnessing across all our prisons in the country. We have been able to also intervene in the area of logistics, because in the past, when we are talking of congestion, where the prison system was partly blamed, because sometimes you find it difficult to convey awaiting trial persons to court. I give you a typical example. In Kuje prison, in the Federal Capital Territory here, in the past, around 2014, 2015, they were not having more than 3 rickety vehicles that a firewood seller will not envy. And they traversed 94 courts, some as far as more than 200 kilometers from where the prison is located. How do you think it will be possible for them to convene close to 1,000 persons awaiting trial to these various courts, almost on a daily basis? So we are happy now that through the intervention of the federal government, we are able to increase the logistics capacity. They are now able to take prisoners to court as and when due. And also in the area of attending to their health needs. In the past, of course, you would have been hearing that prisoners are sometimes asked to make contribution to access medical facilities. But I can tell you that massive drugs have been procured and distributed to all prisons across the country.